representing District 2, and I am currently serving as president of the commission.
Okay, I'm Sally Hauser, District 1, San Rafael, and I live in Terra Linda.
Well, I'm Nick Travaris, District 4, Corte Madera and West Marin, of all things.
Oh, you got West Marin too, I see.
Yeah, apparently.
Because you have property there?
No, just because the way they created the district. I think it's changing, but I'm not sure.
Interesting to see what that map looks like if they redistrict that.
You want to go first on to you? You go. You can go first, Anya.
I'm Anya, also Pat Chandler, and I represent the whole of Marin, and particularly District 2. And I am dedicated to this commission, heart and soul.
All right. Kind of hard to follow on that. I'm John McLeod. I used to live in Sausalito, but now I'm out in Woodacre, so I moved district.
Why don't you represent West Marin and
I
Nick
am.
could represent Sausalito?
Okay. And then we have a company, XR Library. We work with the library pretty closely, integrating technology and different things. And we have a maker space and a couple of buildings up in Nevada that we work with. And then we work with Chantal. We just finished a project with them.
How did you like working with Chantal?
Yeah,
It was good.
we love working with Chantal.
She's a very good packer, Anya.
Okay. She packs a punch.
She's very good at packing.
Sarah and Natalie, John was being really humble. So his company helped with the Renovators project that just happened in Marin City. That was an amazing partnership on so many levels, but just a great project. So, but I don't know if I think we got through all the commissioners. I think so.
Yeah, I think we did.
And then do you two want to introduce yourselves preliminary before we do your presentation?
Sure. I'm Sarah Butts. I'm at the Corte Madera Library. I do youth services, so that's children's and teen. I live in Marinwood, and I know John McLeod.
Got a great write-up today in the IJ.
I saw.
Yeah, it was
I
wonderful.
saw. I'm really glad they didn't put my picture in the print copy.
John Hale.
It was on the internet one. It was horrible.
John Hale who gives a history of Corte Madera and the library is a pretty amazing woman. When I was in the shopping center business, Ernie Hahn would try to put in the village, and it was going to be 100 acres.
Wow.
And I'll never forget the city council, the town stood up, led by John Hale, and they basically booted the entire city council and put in a new city council, reduced the shopping center to 40 acres. And we in the shopping center business affectionately referred to as Recall Mall.
And she looks so sweet.
Yeah. She's a tough cookie. I got to know her through various meetings with our supervisor, what's his name, Radoni. But yeah, she's a tough cookie. But if you walk the path, the Alto Tunnel path, you'll see two plaques dedicated to her husband along the way that they put in there for various contributions they made to the city. Pretty amazing, really.
Great.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me how Monday went.
And pretty soon, Sue, we'll have a new commissioner.
Yes, we will. That's exciting.
Who?
A gal I know who I play bridge with, her name's Claudia Wilson, and she has impeccable credentials. She's put her application in. I had her send it to Lana. I don't know if you've received it, Lana.
Mhm.
Yeah, good. But as you might, if you've read it, she's very impressive, has a PhD in education, and she's going to be a real attribute. She's currently a docent at the Corps of Engineers building down there, the Bay Model. And she wanted to do something more involved. And she's a big reader. She uses the library all the time at Corte Madera. So she'll be, she'll be right up there with Sue Ream as far as credentials are concerned.
Oh,
And eventually will be a president. I can assure you that.
great.
Yeah, no, exciting. But
Well, I
And then
guess
Natalie, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Natalie Weber. I'm the Teen and Adult Services Librarian at the Civic Center Library in San Rafael. It's nice to meet you all.
Hi.
Yep. Thank you for coming. Thank you both for coming tonight, or attending via Zoom anyway. I guess we should go ahead and get started, even though we don't have a quorum, but we'll get going here anyway. So I'm calling the meeting to order here at 4:12. Roll call. I know Edna's probably taken care of that. I guess we can't approve the agenda tonight if we don't have a quorum. So we'll have to put that off until January.
Okay.
Open time for public expression. I don't think we have any community members here tonight. The reading and correspondence file, Edna, thank you for sending that out.
Sure. You're
so
welcome.
That's great. Did everybody get a chance to see the article in the IJ today about the Corte Madera Library, or
Yes.
all saw that?
Is that
Good.
the one with the really cute picture?
Yes.
Mhm. Yes, it's adorable picture.
Good, 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 good. Okay. All right, why don't we move on then to item number 6, which is the biennial report. You all should have gotten, I think you all got a copy of this a week or so ago that Lana sent out asking if there were any revisions or changes or typos or whatever we found in it. And I know there were some suggestions from 1 or 2 people, and it's been revised and sent out again accordingly. So I'm hoping that everybody's had a chance to read through it and approves. I think it's really well done. It's well spells out our accomplishments and our goals for the time ahead. And then this gets presented to the Board of Supervisors. Is that correct, Lana? Then that gets presented on.
It does. I mean, we were hoping for a vote today, but since we don't have a quorum,
Yep.
Maybe we can see if Ali joins us and do a vote before the meeting ends.
Okay.
Edna, if we don't happen to approve this at this meeting, can we still submit and approve it and have it voted on in January?
I can find out from our analyst, but I
Or can we
Okay.
do a vote by mail? Are we allowed to do a vote
or
by
by
mail?
phone probably, yeah,
Or-
because
Okay.
by
we just need
email
one
or
more
something
person
then?
to agree to it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
try
great.
that then. If we don't have Ali tonight, then so at least we can hopefully move this along
Okay.
instead of waiting a whole nother month.
Sounds good.
Why don't we see Edna?
I can see
You
Edna.
too.
I see you, Edna.
Is it there?
Oh,
Golden
I
Gate
see you're at
Bridge.
the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
but I'm assuming since we didn't have any more comments that everybody's good with it, the document the way it stands.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Okay, well, let's wait for Ali then. And if not, as I said, we'll get it out in an email in the next 24 to 48 hours and try to get this moving along so we don't have a long lag time on it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, then we're going to turn it over to our 2 guests tonight, Sarah and Natalie, to give us their updates on teen services and the Civic Center branch. So take it away, team.
All right, I'm just going to share my screen.
Lovely background there.
Let's see, here we go. Shrink you all. And let's see. Okay, think there. Are we good?
We're
Yeah.
Sorry
good.
about that.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, I'm Sarah from the Corte Madera Library, and I'm going to be reviewing the year in teen services. So 2021, you were better than last year, but it's still kind of nice to see you go.
I like that.
There were some challenges this year, as you probably all know. We did have, because of COVID, most of our branches were closed to the public, except for curbside during the first part of this year. So teens looking for the physical space that the library typically offers weren't able to have that. And curbside service, while very popular, just wasn't, something that they used. Also, staffing was a little tricky this year. Several teen services folks were called upon to do disaster services work, at least part-time. And we did lose a few youth services staff to other jobs or retirement. And teen staff were also needed just for branch operational support, since most branches were short-staffed kind of in general. Additionally, and also on a happier note, 2 of our awesome superstar teen services folks have been out with new babies at home. So we're looking forward to seeing them soon, but we've missed them. And since they've been away for so long, teens' habits have changed and their needs have changed. So that's kind of what we're focusing on now. We're putting effort into finding the ways we can re-engage them, both in and outside of the branches. So all of that being said, we were able to do some great things with teens over the course of this last year. First and foremost, our amazing teen leadership crew. This was started by April Haley and Sarah Bolduc in 2020, and then nurtured this year by Rashida Starr and Natalie Weber. They were awarded the Intern Group of the Year award last month, pictured here. I'm sure Natalie will mention this as well. So fancy and beautiful.
Who awarded it? The supervisors?
Yes. Yes. So they had, unfortunately, it was a Zoom award, but, you know, or ceremony, but still very cool. Very cool. This group planned so many virtual events for both children and teens this year throughout the shutdown and then beyond the shutdown. In the thick of things, they were meeting once a week and they were hosting several events a month. Once the kids were able to go back to school in person, they did have to dial it back a bit, and they did continue. And among other things, they presented teen and kids movie nights, open mic night, trivia nights, cooking demos, and even an online theatrical performance, which was lovely. And they did a lot of summer programming as well for both teen and children. They also created the Queer Teen Support Group, which Natalie will tell you more about in a bit. And they created this amazing web magazine called The Spire, which you might have heard about at the end of last year. It's filled with poetry, writing, photography, art, articles written by teens for teens. And they're now accepting submissions for the next edition. And I just
How many members are in the group?
Ooh, Natalie, do you know the answer to that?
Sorry, it fluctuates a little bit. I think right now there are 6 or 7 people who regularly attend.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to show you a few pages from the last scene. Gorgeous. It was just amazing. I wish if we were in person, I would have been passing them all around because we have hard copies. Next time. Teen librarians also hosted some formal presenter-based programming as well. As you can see on the right, this is what a teen, presentation has been looking like. I'm sure you're all familiar. But they did dance and mental health workshops, which Natalie will tell you about. And in the early part of this year, Danny, who at the time was our Novato teen librarian and who had some amazing art world connections, was able to set up some excellent virtual interviews with artists, musicians, and writers. So here are some of the flyers from those. And we get to summer here. And like the one before it, summer was hard to plan due to the pandemic uncertainty. Since we had no notion of what was going to happen month to month, we opted to keep things virtual. So instead of participation-based programming, we opted again to do book giveaways, and we handed out craft kits, which included things like embroidery, journaling, the origami zoo you see there, it was adorable, and some Mondrian tiles. It was like make your own art, lovely. And we wound up distributing about 800 books and creating about 1,500 craft kits for teens.
That's incredible.
It was a pretty cool. And I think we'll incorporate that again this year, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. We did have a Teen Summer webpage, which provided the virtual programming calendar. Again, many of these were teen leadership crew hosted events. And there were teen-made YouTube instructions for how to use the craft kits. And that's like a little image of one of them on the left. And then links to the teen Instagram account. one of the most rewarding things for all of us has been seeing the kids again in person, as you can imagine. Our web stars in Marin City have been creating learning kits called Explora Stories, which you can see there on the right. And they've been re-engaging in their roles as technology experts. And you can see here's a picture of the VR demo that they did for the Marin Innovators project that we talked about a little earlier. Incredible work they're doing. And teen volunteers have been back in a big way. This is the amazing mural that some Redwood students painted in the Corte Madera Children's Room. And you can see a table full of some of the hundreds of teen and children's craft kits that teens assembled at the South Novato branch. We also had a sidewalk chalk mural painted by some kids. Since we couldn't be in the branch at Corte Madera this summer, this was an interactive way for kids to participate. And so we had teen volunteers doing that. It was lovely. And it lasted until it rained in October. And our branch specific teen advisory groups are starting up again. This is mine on the left, decorating for the winter. And here are the Point Reyes kids with this amazing seed library that they created. I wish you could see better the little files of all the seeds. It's just lovely. We're starting programming again at the end of this year as things wind down. Right now, interestingly, kids seem very interested in more community support type projects. So we'll be starting there. And that is the year. See you next time. Does anyone have any questions?
A lot of accomplishments. That's terrific.
Well done.
Yeah.
How do you recruit?
You mean for like the teen advisory groups?
Yeah.
Well, everybody does it differently. I think when you see kids that come into the branch that are clearly a fit, you always engage them. If you see, like I had one referral from one of the school librarians who, just saw this one kid, and sure enough, like he's a wonderful fit. You just kind of reach out and you find the kids, and then they bring their friends in. Natalie can probably answer too, because I'm sure we all have our own strategies and things that work and things that don't in different places. Natalie, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, usually the answer is, we have a regular presence in the schools. I usually do book clubs at lunchtime at Benicia Valley Middle School. So that's kind of usually how I connect, but through COVID, it's been a little trickier, as you'd imagine. So it's staying in email contact with kind of my diehard teen volunteers, and then just getting it to spread via word of mouth, their friends, their classmates, the people that they're in clubs with.
It looks like an amazing program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have some great kids, like really, I'm so grateful for them after this last year.
That's terrific. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Okay, Natalie, I think you're up next.
All right. I'm just sharing my screen. Okay. Oop. All right, does everything look okay?
Yep.
Thanks there.
Great. So I'm Natalie. I'm a teen and adult services librarian at Civic Center Library. I'm filling in for our branch manager, Eva Patterson. Here you see Frank Lloyd Wright demonstrating proper mask use. He's our little cardboard cutout friend. So this year we celebrated the retirements of a handful of beloved staff. Lori Thompson, who is head librarian of the California Room, and also on the right, Linda Aldrich, who is a reference librarian at Civic. We also said farewell to our library aide, Helsman Heath. Carol Acquaviva was promoted to head librarian and archivist in the California Room after Lori's retirement. And Carol's now hiring a librarian one archivist to fill her former position. And we are also really glad to welcome Anne McCammon, our library aide, back to Civic Center after she spent a while, I think, in Fairfax. We also welcomed an awesome new library assistant, Miley. I'm going to talk a little about circulation and our reopening process. In the early part of the year, we were still offering curbside services, which was a really challenging, busy, but very well-loved service that was led by circulation supervisor Victor Avalos and executed by all staff who were not being disaster service workers. You can see that on the left, we're social distancing there. And then on the right, you can see the curbside in quotes, pickup area that we had in our hallway.
You had to actually go into the building, right?
Correct. It was on the 4th floor and just outside the elevator, so a little bit different than the other branches.
Right.
One way we stayed connected with our community while we were closed was to offer timely displays in our windows that face the hallway, and also at the book pickup table for curbside. Trish Friedman, a library assistant too, is a really talented at displays, and she covers all the holidays and events with a little help from the rest of us. You'll see the Black History Month display stuff. Trisha and Carol actually won first prize in the COMEA Black History Month display contest for that. Here's a pride display that Trish put together. Those are the windows that face the hallway. It was really beautiful.
Yes.
We also recently created a display wall after we weeded several of the periodicals. And so now we have a team creating bigger all ages displays on that slat wall that you see in the picture on the right. And those are some folks in Halloween costumes. While we were still mostly closed to the public, Civic Center staff did a huge clean out and reorganization of our perimeter storage, which involved donating much of our unused craft supplies and weeding a lot of dated reference sources. All of our staff were hard at work for the first half of the year, hashing out the details of the various stages of reopening, how to rearrange furniture, create a safe environment for staff and patrons. Staff who were working from home full or part-time adjusted to working on site again. This is Library Express Service, which was a mini library we created in our marketplace area that featured a little of every age range, genre, and language that we offer. Victor designed the layout to limit the number of patrons and maintain social distancing for safety, while also allowing the public to use our computers finally. Creating this area required moving furniture in multiple collections. We offered this service through May and June on alternating days with curbside services. Staff worked at a few different stations, monitoring the door for traffic flow, helping with checkouts, and restocking the shelves. Library Assistant 2, Denise, worked really hard to get our periodicals back in order for our patrons to begin enjoying at opening. Victor and Miley took on monitoring and maintenance of the newly available branch hotspots and Chromebooks, which have also been super popular and are constantly checked out. We opened fully on July 6th. We were the very first branch to be fully open, I believe. We offered public computer use, full library browsing, and most of our previous services. Denise went to Ahmed's moving company and grabbed all of that furniture you see on the left to bring it back to the branch, which was a huge job.
Kidding.
Yeah,
A lot of furniture.
a lot of cheer.
It is. We couldn't believe how much it was when we counted. Over the last several months, we've deepened our services to again include extended reference and computer help, and we're beginning to plan in-person programs. Children's librarian Kathleen, aka Miss Kitty, made a celebrity guest appearance at Mary E. Silvera School in April on Zoom and was really glad to reconnect with Marin kids like we all are. In July, she partnered with the Learning Bus, the Bookmobile, and First Five Marin for the school readiness backpack giveaway. That's what's pictured there. She also gave away more backpacks to Abby Montessori in August and in the library throughout the summer. Kathleen also revamped our whole holiday book collection to target MCFL's equity and diversity goals. So all MCFL families will see their own culture, celebrations, and faces reflected back in our holiday collection. We now have Diwali, Ramadan, Juneteenth, and greater representation of LGBTQ+ families. Kathleen and the children's selector, Clara McFadden, also ensured the Easy Reader and Easy Chapter book collection now feature nearly 60% authors of color. Kathleen and Trish weeded a huge number of titles in preparation for reopening and the RFID project. Kathleen has been out on medical leave for the last few months of 2021, and we're really grateful to all of our children's room subs. They've been a lifesaver. On to teen and adult services. Natalie, that's me, worked as a DSW for nearly a full year, and I was released from service in March. Once I got back, I did a big weeding project with lots of help from my coworkers. I offered several virtual teen programs, including this K-pop program that you see the flyer for on the right. I supported the teen leadership crew, which Sarah Butts mentioned. It's led by Rashida. They recently won the Intern Team of the Year award. And I also began offering the monthly Queer Teen Support Group, which is co-hosted by the teen leadership crew members who identify LGBTQIA+. During the summer, we gave away 40 craft kits to teens at St. Vincent's School for Boys and about 50 take-home kits in the branch throughout the summer. I also visited classes at Venetia Valley Middle School virtually, and I'll be visiting Marin School students later this month. I've also restarted juvenile hall outreach and book donations. I'm also offering one-on-one ebook and digital device help to patrons in the branch. And I've begun working with teen volunteers again, so we're planning future hybrid and in-person. So adult services librarian Linda Aldrich served as a disaster service worker. She answered reference calls and emails. She took over the interlibrary loan program for the whole system. She served as a member of the Adult Services Committee and of course took part in Curbside and Library Express. Linda's expertise and reference is really missed right now, but we're really excited to welcome Ann Bertucci to the Civic Center in just a couple weeks. Here are some updates about our branch manager, Eva Patterson. She's featured in the newspaper there with a really cute picture. Eva worked on diversity, equity, and inclusion issues, attending a three-day session, PRAE, Cultivating Racial Equity and Inclusion workshop. And she advocated for the purchase of Collection HQ for its diversity audit platform. Eva attended the Government Alliance on Race and Equity annual meeting and the National Conference of African American Librarians. She also joined in on critical conversations on issues of diversity, social justice, race, gender, and sexuality, hosted by the University of South Carolina School of Library and Information Science. She worked with the small group who developed the system-wide Black History Month programming and our partnership with COMAT. She worked with Chantel and Julie to institute and schedule the inclusion of a diversity component in each monthly issue of the MCFL email newsletter sent to patrons. She's also on the committee developing the groundwork for mission-driven programming that aligns programs with MCFL values. She continues her work as chair of the Teen Services Committee, the CRAE team, and the Race Equity Alliance. So these pictures, the three on the left show some signatures that we found in our perimeter storage on some plywood shelves. And you can see some of them go back to the 60s. And Carol, who works in the California room, thought it would be a really cool idea if we kind of commemorated that, you know, all that we've been through together in 2020 and 2021 to put our own signatures. So you can see those on the right.
Love the Therese S. The library saved me.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Very touching.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. That's all for me.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's your circulation?
You know, it's not back to the numbers that we had before, and I think you can pretty much see that across the system.
Well, again, every time we have one of these presentations, I'm so impressed by what the staff at MCFL is doing. We are so lucky in this community to have such a dedicated, hardworking group of people in our branches reaching out. You guys all just do an amazing job. So kudos to you. Really, it was absolutely terrific. Thank you so much for that report. Okay, so for my president's report tonight, I want to update you all on the parcel tax renewal measure A. During the month of November, the committee finalized the community survey, and it went out live around November 30th, I believe was the date that it went up. And it went out to cardholders and patrons. It's on the website, social media. It's out in a number of different venues. And if you haven't had a chance to look at it, please go to the library site and log on and fill it out. It's a great survey. It's really going to help the Measure A team understand what the priorities are in the community, what's important to patrons, and it will really guide us with the messaging as we get a little further along into this process, but really to try to determine what's important to people. There's also a chance for a virtual meeting with Lana if you want to reach out and talk to her in person and not just fill out a piece of paper. So that invitation is also included in the survey. And while that's going on, and that's going to be up and live until about the 15th of January. And in the meantime, now we are working on the feasibility study, which is going to be looking at the different tax rates and timelines. You know, what kind of renewal do we go in for? What kind of rate do we go in for? How long? Again, that's going to be taking the temperature of the community out there, because there's going to be a lot of things on the ballot next year. And there's always the question of everybody's pocketbook and how much money do they want to put forward. So I think, you know, from my perspective, continuing to tell our story in many, many ways as we can, even in person to our friends about everything that our library is doing is really going to help make people put yes on the ballot. I know I talk it up to all my friends and come away and say, you guys wouldn't believe what they're doing, you know. So I think that's going to be a big part of this. So we'll keep you posted as time goes on. Again, the community survey closes on the 15th, and then we'll go into the next stage of getting the testing out there. And I'm kind of looking over the timeline here. It's pretty comprehensive. You know, what the website's going to look like and all that. There's a lot of work to do as we get closer to the July, August time period. And we get this on the ballot, and we got to vote yes. And I think we had about 70-something% approval last time around. So hopefully we get the same thing again. We've also heard that I think San Anselmo is going to go out with their renewal, and San Rafael is going to go out with their renewal also. So, and I know sometimes there's confusion in the community as well. Why do they vote for this and I vote for that? And I just had that same conversation with a couple of people today who quite don't understand why they're voting on different parts of these library parcel taxes. So it's up to us, I guess, to get out there and explain that. So that's the update, and I will keep you posted as we go month to month on where we stand with Measure A. So at that point, I'm going to turn it now over to Lana, who's going to give us her director's report.
Sure, thanks, Sue, and thanks for the recap on Measure A. I have nothing else to add to that very thorough report. As Sue said, the survey is out, and so far we have over 1,000 responses, which is wonderful for being out about a week and a half. You know, we're seeing a lot of responses from our larger branches, so Puerto Madera, Fairfax, Novato, Civic Center. So those that are in West Marin, you maybe spread the word a little bit in Marin City as well. Those districts we want to see a little bit more responses from. And again, we've got a few more weeks to go. So we'll really keep tracking it and then get our efforts out there to make sure we're reaching everyone that's in the community, not only those who are coming through our doors or access our website. And to sort of highlight, you know, the great work that staff do and are as people, we not only have the Puerto Madera article from today, but we've had quite a presence on West Marin radio. So on KWMR, I'm going to highlight Ramona and our new West Marin branch manager, Madeline Bryant. They were on the show this morning. It's Amanda's show, correct, Ramona? Amanda's show. So there is an archive link on the website. Just a great introduction to Madeline, to the region, and all the experience that she brings to the position. So she will be overseeing the 4 West Marin branches, and she brings a lot of youth experience from her previous experience with LA Public Library. And then West Marin is very familiar and still loves Ramona, probably as hard to part with her in her new position as
Yeah.
deputy director. But just a wonderful interview. Again, a moment for the staff to really shine and let the public know what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. I also was interviewed by Supervisor Rodoni on December 1st on Epicenter, and that archive is also up there. It's about a half an hour archive about the survey, my introduction to the library system, and where we are looking to head in the future. So I encourage you to visit both of those archives and see what we're up to. I also want to commend, we wrote a lot about this in our director's report about the vaccination clinics and the library's participation with health and services, human services to get out there. And I think everything that staff wrote about, from collections, to teen services, children's services, and the system-wide effort to support that partnership just really speaks to where libraries are today in terms of we are where people are. It's not necessarily, forcing those to come into our physical buildings, even though those are loved spaces, and being able to part with other agencies in community-wide efforts. I think that is just a great fit for libraries, and also that libraries are such a trusted institution in a moment of crisis for our community, in a moment of literal pain for some of our children, right, and getting a shot. It's extremely scary, but having the library there made that transition easier for families and children. And again, just want to commend the wraparound effort to support that service in our community. And one last quick update from me. I wanted to give the commission sort of report back on the support for summer reading. So we have our newest West Marin branch manager, Madeline, who I said has a huge background in youth services and come from LAPL. She will be leading a group of staff to look at how we build that partnership with the business community in support of our summer reading program. So that work continues, and we hope to have an update for the commission soon on that as well. And I'm happy to take any questions the commission has.
Actually, I want to circle back on that. I sent out an email a while back on this idea of partnerships, and one of the thoughts I threw out there was coffee shops. Did everybody get that email? Because I felt like I didn't hear anything back on that. If we want to start to look for potential partners, I really think that coffee shops would be a great place to go. And I can think of a number of independent coffee shops around Marin that if we, felt like we could walk in the door and say, hey, could you be one of our partners? I think we could have some success with that. So I'd like to really think about that as a commission after the first of the year, is what can we do to expand those partnerships? And that was just one idea that I came up with. But, read a few books and get a free cup of coffee or a donut or something, it could be kind of a fun deal. And it could also help us, during Measure A, that it's something that's being done. The community is helping support the library also. So just something to think a little bit about. Anyway. Okay, so moving on to number 9, announcements. Really don't have anything other than talking about our meetings moving forward into 2022. Lana and Chantel and I discussed it a little bit more. I think we're going to stay in the Zoom format for a couple of more months. As we move into January, February, March, the weather's not that great anyway, and it's dark and all those things, and we're still in this iffy period. So we'll just plan on continuing with Zoom for the time being, and maybe by April, spring will have sprung and things will look better and we can all get back together in person again. And yes, Chantel, I echo that, crossing fingers, because it certainly would be lovely to see all of you in person again. So with that, I don't have anything else. We had kind of a quick little meeting here tonight, and we didn't pick up Ali, unfortunately. So unless we have anything else anybody wants to add, I guess we will adjourn.
I just want to say, Nick looks better in Zoom than in real person, because I saw him 3 weeks ago.
Hey, you didn't see the reason I had sunglasses on it, because I had a vision of my eye.
Some people you should probably keep in Zoom.
Did he say he had a black eye?
Yeah, I didn't want to get over by John. I saw John over there. I'm staying away. No, I had a really black eye with and a red for about 6 days. My wife left on with her Pan Am friends out of Bolinas, and I went to see a buddy of mine in the city to watch a Warriors game, and I managed to go down to put something in his garbage, pick my head up and hit the front of my head on a open cupboard. And oh my God, that was the beginning of a very bad black eye. So John, that's why did it look so good?
So you really
You didn't see the worst part. Huh?
You really did walk into a door, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
everybody
my
says,
God.
what did the other person look like? Well, that,
Well, and then the other thing I like to say, I mean, we did have this event in the Marin Gateway Shopping Center in November, and it was very well attended. Is great support from ETN and the web stars there. I think there were over 200 people that went through and did the VR. In
Wow.
the afternoon. In fact, the line was around the building because we had to shut it off. And so now it'll be set up in the library for people to work with. But I think the other thing, one of the owners from the shopping center was there, and he came up to us afterwards and said, you know, we want to talk to you about how you can have more space here. I know ETN wants some more space for a makerspace. So we're going to get together with Lana and Ramona and everyone the first of the year to talk to them about what other space they might be willing to donate for a period of time.
they can give
They're
you
very impressed with the event, and they allowed us to, if you're down in Marin City, you can drive around and see the artwork is still on the windows, and you can, if you have your phone, you can use a QR code and they'll listen to the music that the kids created. They did a great job. And then we were at Tam High yesterday showing it to the principal because we're going to use it in the high school in the spring for a history class, and out at Archie Williams in San Anselmo.
Wonderful. Would it be possible for council members to attend?
Commission members.
Commission members, yeah,
Or commission, right?
for a small donation to the library.
Well, I could use a
Of
donation.
course.
No, of course, we could, once we meet, we could have, we can show it to the commissioners.
No, but I'd like to go when you're showing it to the students
Oh,
and
okay.
see reactions and how it's
Yeah.
done. And I hear a lot of reports, but that would be something I would really like to witness.
Yeah, well, and the other pilot that we're doing right now is it's at South Nevada and in Marin City. Is they're going to start setting up a demo day for VR with the web stars supporting that, where people can come in and try VR for like a 2 or 3 hour time period. And then they'll be able to check out a headset for 2 weeks.
Ah,
Cool.
I mean, we only have, it's a very small pilot. We only have 4 headsets. We're just trying to see how it's going to work.
and where are you going to do that?
In South Nevada and in Marin City. And Hector from South Nevada has been he translated all the instructions, and we were able to set up one of the headsets all in Spanish. So that's kind of cool. So maybe we could put it on the bookmobile or the, I don't know, what do you think, Ramona? Send it out West Marin.
I think, bigger and better. So yes, let's do it.
All right.
You know,
That's all.
CVS is going to be available in Marin City pretty soon. We don't need that much space, but that's a good space.
That's right.
Yeah. But I agree with Anya. I'd like to actually go in person and see some of this. I think, seeing the enthusiasm and the participation of the kids is all part of it. I'd love to be a part of that. So keep us posted if and when we can join you.
Okay.
Be
Thank you.
great. All right. Well, at this point, I guess we'll log off, and I want to wish everybody a happy holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate, and mostly happy New Year. Let's hope that 2022 is better and onwards and upwards and all of that,
Mhm.
So, and then it rains. Hopefully this
Yeah.
weekend we get some more rain. So I guess we'll adjourn the meeting and we'll see everybody in January.
So Anya and I don't get to say,
All right.
we
I
move-
think I'm fine.
I would like to move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, all right, well,
Okay. You don't need it.
I second Anya.
You don't
okay,
need
all
it.
right.
I mean,
We
there
don't need
are
to vote for it.
rituals.
There are rituals, that's right.
Okay.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
Happy holidays,
Safe
everybody.
travels to you,
Bye-bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
safe travels to Chicago.